Subject: taxes, particularly this time of the year. You're going to be having to do your tax returns here pretty soon. So, there are strategies that some people use to avoid paying FICA taxes, FICA Social Security, FICA Medicare. And I'm going to get in those today. I'm not an accountant or you're a tax attorney or anything. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and I've taken hundreds of thousands of retirement claims, disability claims, survivor spouse claims, and all the rest of it. And here are some of the strategies people use. And so definitely talk to your tax people and see if any of these are right for you. And I'll give you some cautionary tales along the way that maybe you need to rethink this strategy. But anyway, all right. And this is also a live Q&A. We'll be on here for an hour. I'll only talk about the taxes for about 10-15 minutes, and then I'll open it up to any questions you have. I already see a bunch of questions in chat, so make sure you subscribe and join and share and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, FICA taxes versus taxes on Social Security. The president said he is going to end taxes on Social Security benefits. So those are benefits that you're receiving: Social Security benefits, retirement, survivor, spouse, disability, whatever the case may be. And if that's all you're receiving, you're not paying taxes on your Social Security benefits. But if you have any other type of income coming in, then you just might pay taxes. Up to 50% of your Social Security taxes can be taxed, or your Social Security benefits can be taxed, or up to 85% of your Social Security benefits can be taxed, not at a 50% rate or 85% rate. So if 85% of your Social Security benefits are taxed, and your tax rate is 22%, it's 22 times the 85%. It's 15% you're not taxed on. But we're not going to talk about those today, and we will see. As of right now, you will, if you're having to pay taxes on Social Security benefits, which about half of the people do, half the people do not. But you'll have to pay taxes on those Social Security benefits this year. The tax season is already here, and if the president decides to change, it has to go through Congress and signed. It's at the very, very earliest next year. Okay, so we're not talking about those type of taxes. We're talking about FICA taxes when you actually work, get a W-2, a 1099, net income from self-employment, whatever the case may be. Those FICA taxes, also called payroll taxes. So how much are those for Social Security? So you get FICA for Social Security and FICA for Medicare. Social Security, you pay 6.2%. Your employer pays 6.2%. For Social Security, for FICA Medicare, you pay 1.45%, and your employer pays 1.45%. If you make over $250,000, you pay a little bit extra, but we're not going to talk about that today. So the total you pay on your side is 7.65% for Medicare and Social Security, and altogether, and again, your employer pays the other 7.65%, so a total of 15.3%. Okay, so now we've got the ground rules of what we're talking about, and let's talk about ways that some people avoid paying those FICA taxes. One popular one is setting up a LLC, S corporation. Distribution. So if you set that up, then distributions, you don't have to pay payroll taxes on distributions. You do if once you take out the salary. You have to take out a salary from your company that you own, and you pay FICA taxes on that. But if you change them to kind of distributions, you don't pay FICA taxes on that. And I'm just going to throw that out there and let you talk to your tax accountant or lawyer and figure out whether that is right for you. But with all of these, I want to give you a lot of cautionary tales that, again, I've taken hundreds of thousands of retirement claims, and people have come into the office of Social Security when I worked there in 62, 65, 67, and go ahead and file for retirement benefits. And we do the calculations and says, okay, here's your benefit amount. They say, wow, that's it? That's all I get? Well, Social Security bases your earnings, or bases your Social Security benefit on your earnings, how much you paid into Social Security for the high 35 years. So if you use any of these strategies to avoid FICA taxes, then guess what? Your benefit once you retire is going to be substantially reduced. And 99% of the time, those people that did that, they tell me, says, oh yeah, I did an LLC, I did this other thing, and therefore, I hated paying taxes, so I did everything I could to avoid paying taxes. But now I've only got $600, $700 a month to live on. And I'm like, well, you save taxes and I'm sure you invested in some. Oh no, I bought a boat. Oh no, I, bought a second home and then I got a divorce and then I got sick. And so now all that money I supposedly saved and, I thought I was going to put away for retirement, life happens and, they are left with $700, $800. So I don't throw that out there as a cautionary tale. Okay. Another strategy some people do is if they have a business, a married couple has a business, when you go to do your taxes, a lot of times accountants mess this up. Accountants know taxes, the IRS, but they don't necessarily know FICA, Social Security type taxes. So if you have, let's say the wife is the president, she's the one that started the business, and but it's the husband is kind of the vice president or whatever the case may be. Um, the tax accountants often put all of the net income and everything under one Social Security number, which is fine because you're married and you're taxes whatever. But then they put the FICA under one Social Security number. So the wife gets all of the benefit. The husband gets nothing. So when the husband at 62, 65 goes into Social Security and, there's no money there. Why? Because all of the money in your business, the accountant or, didn't know, or you told the accountant to put it under one person, then there's not going to be anything left for the other person, which is fine if you intend to stay married for at least 10 years or married forever, because the lower earning or the zero earning spouse can get benefits on the higher earning spouse. And there's also issue of how old, if there's an age difference, that's not a good strategy. So there's a lot of variables there. And again, I see a lot of people that have, husband and wife have a business and they don't realize that's happening. So I would reach out to your tax accountant and say, okay, our taxes, yeah, whatever, because it's our taxes. But what about FICA tax? Have you been putting all of the FICA tax under one or the other, and therefore the other one has zero retirement or disability if something happens? Definitely reach out and check that. A lot of accountants make that mistake. All right, so there's another way people avoid taxes is they move overseas and they become expats. But in order to do that, so the particular country you move to has to have a totalization agreement with the United States, and that's basically a Social Security agreement that if you live overseas and you are participating in that particular Social Security system overseas, and that country has a totalization agreement, then you do not have to participate in both. You know that as U.S. citizens, we have the privilege of doesn't matter where in the world we live, we have to pay taxes, and then sometimes you have to pay state taxes. Doesn't matter where you live. But sometimes you don't have to pay payroll taxes. So in your particular country, you might have to get a certificate or something that says, yes, you participate in the Social Security system in that particular country, and then you submit it to Social Security and say, hey, I'm already covered. So you'll probably have to talk to a tax person in your particular country to see what the totalization agreement says. And there's another one. You can work in non-covered employment. What does that mean? You've probably heard of the Social Security Fairness Act. That's what that's all about. There's 3% of people in America that work for government entities. Nowadays, there's state, local, city, government. They're teachers, firefighters, police, janitors, whatever the case may be. They work for the city or state or local county. And those particular plans do not participate in Social Security. So they're non-covered. So that's what the Social Security Fairness Act, those 3% now get an extra percentage now that the rest of us don't get. I was completely against that. And, typical politicians, they name the bill the complete opposite of what it is. They call it the Social Security Fairness Act. It's actually the Social Security Unfairness Act for the other 97%. But anyway, I guess we lost that battle. But that's $200 billion a year that's going to be lost. Anyway, so non-covered employment. So you can, find another job and, work for a city state, but they do not pay they do not pay the Social Security part of FICA, but they do pay the Medicare part of FICA. So a lot of those people don't realize that they are insured for Medicare because they paid the Medicare part of that 1.45%. All right. The next one is if you have you're part of a religion and they part of the religion does not believe in public insurance, you can actually get a waiver and not participate in the Social Security Administration. Again, out of the millions of claims that were processed through my office, I think we had maybe one or two of people in those particular situations, but not very often. But it is there. And the last one is probably the one that's used most than anything else is make tons of money. And you don't have to pay FICA anymore. That is the Social Security part of FICA. And what are we talking about here? Is that if you make under $176,100, you and I pay FICA Social Security on every dollar we make. Every dollar we make, we pay 6.2%. Our employer pays 6.2%. And so 100% subject to all this FICA, taxation. If you make over $176,100, then you stop paying FICA tax after that amount. So if you make $5 million, someone makes $50,000, they pay FICA tax on every dollar, 6.2 and 6.2. And there is no cap for Medicare. But if you make $5 million, you don't pay 6.2. I calculated out one time, you pay like 0.43% or something like that because you only pay what you earned under the $176,100. So that is a travesty right there. And that's one of the main drivers of the trust fund slowly being depleted and will be depleted here in a few years. And 2034, we're looking about cuts about 21%. If some of the things that are proposed pass Congress and are signed by the president, we're looking to about 33% cuts and a few years early. So make sure you reach out to your politicians and tell them to protect Social Security and improve customer service and all the rest of it. And speaking of customer service, let's get into your Social Security questions now. And let's see if we can help you navigate the bureaucracy. All right, got tons of questions. Oh, we've got some new members too, silver members. And was it Sunday joined us there? Michelle became a silver member. Thank you. Thank you for support. All right. Hey, Pam, Dr. Ed, I am 67 and had been collecting SSDI until full retirement age on my own record. Am I able to now also file to collect off my ex's Social Security? Married 32 years, divorced 14. Yeah, you were always eligible to collect off of your ex's starting at 62, starting at 60 if that person is deceased. But yeah, it really depends on the benefit amount. That person's benefit amount, their full benefit amount, what's called the PIA, the primary insurance amount, the benefit amount if they had waited until their full retirement age. If your benefit amount is less than half of that, then you are 100% eligible for benefits on that person's record because you were married at least 10 years. But that person has to be at least 62 years old or collecting benefits. So a lot of people think that the previous spouse has to be receiving benefits. That's not true. The previous spouse just has to be 62 years old. Doesn't matter whether they started benefits or not. Okay. Let's see. Let's see here. Got other questions. Alabama, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Louisiana, some of the biggest welfare states. Yeah, that's always attack. The federal government is always attack on California, but California pays so much into taxes. With estimates that if California was its own country, it'd be the 7th largest economy in the world or something. So yeah, my SSDI was converted. Oh, okay, I already answered that one. Let's see. I have been on SSDI since 2017, categorized as so this is medical improvement not expected. And sorry, Social Security acronyms. I've got too many acronyms in my brain, even 8 years in the Marine Corps. So, and never had a CDR. I'm now 65. Do you think it is likely still get a review? It really depends. I wouldn't sweat it. My philosophy on CDRs, the continued disability reviews, those reviews to see if you're still disabled, they're 100% budget driven. So if Congress allocates X amount of money and it gets down to your particular district office and your office has to do a CDR, then they'll do a CDR. But if you haven't got one yet, there's probably a lesser chance. But if you get it, then you get it and you fill it out, you complete it, make copies, return it, and then forget about it. Because even if you return it, maybe they filled their quota for that particular month. And so my philosophy on those is just forget about it until you actually get it. So because yeah, Social Security does a really, really good job at stressing people out about that. My husband will file at 70, no income besides the VA disability for many years. Wife still working and makes more, so no spouse benefit concerns. Anything to watch out when we file? No, make sure he files at 70 because he is getting the max delayed retirement credits, and that maxes out the month you turn 70. So don't wait till after 70 because your benefits don't go up anymore after 70. So the delayed retirement credits, for those people that don't know, it's if you wait past your full retirement age, if you're, let's say you're 67 years old, is your full retirement age, and you collect your benefits at 70, that means your benefit amount will increase by 24%. It's 8% every year. So if your benefit amount is, let's say, $1,000 and at full retirement age and you wait till 70, guess what? Your benefit is now $1,240. So definitely one thing to watch out for, as I tell everybody, make sure he goes in there, sets up a Social Security account on SSA.gov and check his earnings record, because that is how they would determine how much his benefit amount will be, is based on how much he actually paid into Social Security. And then when he files, make sure he tells them, that he served in the military. He may or may get a little bit of extra bump there. It's not a lot, but hey, it's every buck's a buck, right? And other than that, if he's got Medicare, if he already signed up for Medicare at 65, Medicare Part A and Part B, to start the money is be super, super easy because you've already done the difficult part. But if he has VA disability, he has VA, medical and stuff. I don't know if he's TRICARE for life or regular VA, but he might, check out a Medicare Part A, Part B. Probably I wouldn't get a Medicare supplement if he's looking to get something else, because he's got VA disability. He's got VA medical probably. Some people do, but it's the Medicare supplements are monthly. For everybody else, I always recommend a Medicare supplement, a Plan N or a Plan G, if it's in your budget. That way, avoid the prior authorizations and limited networks. You can reach out to my partners there at Chapter sponsors, and they can help you out there. They help you out free. This is also the open enrollment period. So if you have a Medicare Advantage plan now and you forgot to check it, or you realize you're on the wrong plan, or you want to see if there's anything better, reach out to my partners there and they'll check, see what's available in your area. And you can also switch to a Medicare supplement plan from a Medicare Advantage. January, February, March is called the open enrollment period. So if you have a Medicare Advantage and you want to bail from it, check to see if you have Medicare supplement might be better for you. But you might, depending on your state, you might have to go through health underwriting. And it's not an exam necessarily. They just, the advisor at Chapter just asks you 20, 30 questions about your health. And if you pass it, then they can sign you up for a Medicare supplement. And then you can go to any doctor facility in the country that accepts Medicare. You don't have to worry about networks. I always say, if you have a Medicare supplement, your network is America. Generation Context became a gold member. Thank you, Ted, Michelle, Sunday. Somebody donated $20 to the cause. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for answering my question. You're welcome. Thank you. Charles, what's up, Charles? How can Congress cut Social Security funding when Social Security is self-funded? Yes, I agree. They can only cut by cutting FICA tax. For example, drop cap to raise FICA tax received. Well, they can, this whole thing about, these bureaucrats, making laws and stuff like that. No, Social Security, they just interpret the laws that Congress passes. And so Congress can cut, benefits by saying, okay, we're no longer going to give, the second divorced spouse benefits. We're no longer going to give children benefits after the age of 10 years old. And so they can change that type of law. So they can definitely cut benefits. The current president said he is not going to cut benefits, and he's not going to raise the retirement age by 1 year, which is awesome. Perfect. But that's just watching the house burn down. because the cuts are going to happen automatically if nothing is done. So we definitely need to reach out to our politicians and make sure that something is done. And cuts are happening right now. People that watch my show on a regular basis know that cuts are happening right now. How are they happening right now? Because you can't get into Social Security Administration. People are losing benefits right now because they can't get Social Security on the phone to take their claims and do their work reports and file for surviving spouse benefits. And that is a conscious decision by politicians to keep you from your benefits by making it crazy difficult to get it. So reach out to your politicians and tell them yeah, Social Security is at a 50-year low. Something needs to happen. I am 71. If I take spousal benefits when wife turns 62 in July, will it affect her benefits as plans to keep working till full retirement age of 67? No, if you take benefits from someone's record, whether it's your current spouse or divorced spouse or anything, it doesn't affect their benefits at all. So you're 71, so you're going to receive 50% of your wife's benefit amount, her full benefit amount. So hers, if she starts hers at 62, hers is going to be reduced by about 30%. So she's going to get a reduction because she's taking it early, and you are not going to receive that reduction because you're after your full retirement age. But you said she plans to keep working until 67. Remember, she has to file for benefits on her own record first. And she's limited the amount of money she can make. This year it's the $23,400. So anything over $23,400, they're going to hold back $1 for every $2 she goes over. So if they hold back benefits because she goes over, then your benefits are also going to be suspended. So you definitely need to take that into consideration. Do you know if you switch to deceased spousal benefit and they were under WEP, will the deceased spouse benefit go back to 1/1/24? Okay, so that's the Social Security Fairness Act that was just signed. And they're working on it right now. Typical Congress said, here's 3 million cases you have to rework, and we're not going to give any resources to do it. Typical Congress. But anyway, yeah, if your deceased spouse was under WEP, once Social Security is able to unwep that record, then yes, yeah, technically in the law, HR 82, there was 2 whole sentences to that. So Social Security is now getting with their lawyers to figure everything out, figure out how to interpret what Congress was talking about and how to do it, and without any resources. But yeah, they're supposed to go all the way back. Taken Took, someone says, I'm willing to bet that other flag is the flag of the United States Marine Corps. Yes, it is in the background there. I didn't want to put it too prominently because Social Security, the Marine Corps is very, very particular about their symbol and stuff like that. So I sort of hit it there. So thanks for noticing. Confused. My SSDI was converted to regular Social Security when I reached 62 and got full retirement benefits. I heard SSDI will switch over to FRA. Why did it get full benefits at 62? Not sure. Yeah, I don't think that happened. The only reason they make you switch at 62 is if you were receiving SSI. If you were receiving SSI, then when you get 62, you do have to file for any benefits you're eligible for. So, but no, if you are receiving Social Security disability insurance, and what happens is your benefits are converted at your full retirement age. So that's correct there. And people don't even know that their benefits been switched. It's just a bureaucratic thing where they stop taking your money out of the Social Security Disability Trust Fund and start taking it out of the Social Security Retirement Trust Fund. So, all right, jumping around here. Sorry if I'm skipping over your questions. I got tons of questions, so I'm just jumping over and see what happens. There's no moderator. It's just me. I push the button, and whether it's good or bad, this is what you get. So hopefully I get some negative stuff. I like negative stuff every now and then. National debt is over 36 trillion. Fraud, waste, and abuse are terms used to describe activities that are illegal, improper, or wasteful. The programs you say they don't like meets one or more of this definition. If a particular program, passed through Congress, it was, passed through Congress, our democratically elected leaders, and signed by the president, then if someone comes up later, Elon Musk or George Soros, I guess on both sides of the political spectrum, and say, I don't agree with that. I wouldn't fund that, and therefore I think that's fraud, waste, and abuse. I don't think that's fraud, waste, and abuse. I don't think he's found much. He definitely hasn't found anything in fraud, waste, and abuse in Social Security. He's made a lot of allegations, but I've talked about that a few times, and he doesn't really know Social Security. Stuart, hello from Japan. Oh, ohayou gozaimasu in Japan. Yoroshiku. Thank you, Ado desu ka. How's the weather out there? Valerie, if I go back to work full time with how the phone lines are report the change, is there a different way to report the change? This is definitely one thing Elon Musk, this is he shouldn't be the person that does it, but if he is, desperate times call for desperate measures, and him and his guys, are tech guys. This is definitely one place. If they want to help Social Security, then this is the place to make it easier to expand services online and make an app even. There's not a Social Security. There's a great Medicare app. Go to Medicare.gov and download the app, and it's the app is it covered app, so you can see, oh, is this covered? Is this covered? You can click it in there, and it tells you this is covered or this is not covered, or it's covered, but Medicare will pay X% and stuff like that. It's a great app. Social Security should have one of those as well, particularly for Valerie and all the other millions of people out there. There is a work report you can do online, but other than the work report online, and I think it's improved over the last couple of years, but it can always be made better. So either online or, unfortunately, get to your phone. And remember, when you're waiting on the phone for 3 hours to do whatever you need to do, get your appointment or whatever the case may be, make sure you pull up your computer, go to your congressional representatives, your 2 senator, your House representatives, click on that little button that says, I need help with a federal agency, and put it in there and say, what help do you need? I need them to answer the damn phone. So Social Security is at a 50-year low in terms of staffing, and politicians are refusing to support Social Security. And now it looks like the cuts are going to be even worse. So more people are going to go without benefits. It's unfortunate. I get $3,500 a month from Social Security. That is all my income. Will I need to pay taxes? Probably not. Yeah, because Social Security only taxes 30. I don't want to do a back of the hand calculation, but most people that don't, because they only count half of that. Go into my YouTube description, and I should have the link for the IRS website that says, do I have to pay Social Security tax for all my benefits? And go into that link, and you put how much and what your category is, single, married, and all that kind of stuff. And then it'll tell you exactly whether you have to pay taxes on your Social Security benefits. How come there was no taxes on tips, no taxes on Social Security included in the new GOP tax bill? Yeah. Well, there you go. So maybe it was a campaign promise. You notice that the no taxes on tips, the place where it was kind of unveiled and really, in Vegas. Nevada was a swing state, and people in Vegas, they live on tips. So yeah. Worked for 40 years and pension. Must better not touch our SSI. We work for it. We'll have problems. Yes, I agree. But just to be clear, SSI is supplemental security income. Nobody worked for that one because that's a welfare-based program. But Roseanne, you mean Social Security benefits, SSA. So a lot of people make that mistake. But yeah, I agree. That shouldn't be touched. But it's the 2 things he has talked about, supposedly these deceased people, the 150-year-old, those people are not getting paid. You notice he didn't say how much went out last month to this 150-year-old. He just said there's still people on the books. And somebody pointed out yesterday that as in COBOL, they default to 1875, and 2025 minus 1875 is 150 years old. But Social Security does default to 1875, though, if there's a record that it's kind of a placeholder. So that's where he's looking at the 150. There's nobody receiving Social Security benefits 150 years old. So, he's either I hate to use the I word, ignorant, but he doesn't know what he's talking about, or he does know what he's talking about, and he uses these anecdotal, internet myth examples in order to do something more. Yeah, so which he did with other programs. So it's this is my second my mission, and my mission my in retirement is to help you get the benefits you're entitled to and earned and need. And my second mission is to make sure those are not cut in the future. Diane, what's up, Diane? I receive less than one half of what my husband receives. Am I eligible to get some of his Social Security? If you are already receiving less than one half, then you're already getting. Sounds like. Um, you will get less than one half if you filed for those benefits before your full retirement age. You will get exactly one half of that person's full benefit amount if you start those benefits at your full retirement age. But it sounds like you started early, and therefore, yeah. Let's see here. Can a spouse switch from a lower spousal support to widow spousal support when my time ends? From a lower spousal support to a widow spousal support when my time ends. Yeah, I'm not sure. So we're talking about you two exes, and you're receiving benefits from one spouse, but it was lower. And then you had another spouse that has since passed away and your benefits are higher. Yeah, you can always switch to the higher record. Yes, you can always switch to the higher record. Uh, let's see. Anita, good afternoon. My question is, I want to file my Social Security pension when I turn 65. Can I still continue working full time? It depends on how much full time is. You can make $23,400 this year and you're good. If you make over that, $1 for every $2 you go over applies. Once you hit your full retirement age, the year you hit your full retirement age, you can make over $62,000 in the months before you hit your full retirement age. And then once you reach your full retirement age, you can go back to making $1 billion a month, and it doesn't affect your Social Security negatively at all. Denise, my husband passed. He was in memory care. I was reimbursed for a prior payment. That amount I made previous payment for his care. Well, I need to report the refund okay, yeah, that's a tax type stuff, and I don't do taxes. So how many years you worked think they go by the highest years too? Yeah, they go by the high 35 years. And people say, well, I only worked 20 years. Well, then they do those 20 years and then they add in 15 years of zeros, which will bring your benefit amount so down. Let's see. Will the no tax on tips have an effect on what those receiving Social Security when they retire? Yes, all of those things. Anytime less FICA money comes in, then that means that's the little chart thing I showed there about 33% cuts, because if less money comes in, that means there's going to be quicker cuts and deeper cuts. And here is, so in 2023, the 2024 numbers aren't out yet. There was $1.1 trillion that came into Social Security, predominantly through FICA, but also from taxes, those people that paid taxes on their Social Security benefits. When you pay taxes on your Social Security benefits, it goes to the trust fund. And because we're loaning we've got the trust fund, that $2.6 trillion in treasury bonds, we're getting interest on that. In 2023, $63 billion in interest. So for a total of $1.1 trillion. But unfortunately, fortunately, we paid $1.2 trillion out. That means there's a lot of baby boomers, and that's that money they put into the trust fund is their money. So they're taking it out. So you see 1.1 came in, about 1.2 went out. The difference was $70 billion. Where'd that $70 billion come from? It came from the trust fund. So that's why the trust fund is slowly being depleted. So if the taxes on Social Security is ended, that's $49.8 billion less that's going to go in there. So that's more from the trust fund. If no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, that's less money coming in. So that means the trust fund ends earlier. So those are the stark numbers, and I've got all the references to those in the on my YouTube description. The Congressional Budget Office, the Social Security actuaries, everybody. So if you want to check those out. Let's see, Terry, we withdrew money from a Roth to pay off vehicles. I get Social Security, husband gets SSDI. Have we really hurt ourselves? In terms of SSDI, no. SSDI doesn't. It doesn't matter. You can make $1 billion in unearned income. Hit the lottery and won $1 trillion, and it doesn't affect your SSDI at all. It's not an income or resource based program. It's just about disability and any work you do. If you're making $100,000 working and receive an SSDI, then that's an issue. So, Jeff, no, unless you're 150 years old and been dead for 55 years and still receiving Social Security. Yeah. So again, if that's all he's got, he hasn't found anything on Social Security. But there's fraud, waste, and abuse on Social Security. The system, yeah, the computer system, particularly for those people on disability, it needs to be made a lot easier for them to report their wages and everything like that. But yeah, efficiency, yes, definitely need help with efficiency. Definitely need help with fraud, waste, and abuse. Open today's, just Google Social Security fraud, and you will find some place in the country that some local newspaper reported, Social Security, the OIG, the Office of the Inspector General found fraud, and fraud is found every day. We found fraud and waste and abuse in our office all the time, and we closed it down and had to put people in jail and made them pay back all that money and stuff. So it's an ongoing process. It's a never-ending battle. Married for 46 years. Collecting Social Security, 70 years old and working. I'm separated. The question is, would I qualify for spouse benefits? If your benefit amount is less than half of that person's benefit, if that person is alive, then yes. If that person is deceased, if that person is $1 more than yours, then you can possibly collect survivor benefits on that person's record. When people retire and have not paid tax on their tips, will they receive less Social Security? Yes, because the less you pay into Social Security, the less your benefit amount is. So particularly like, people in Vegas who get 90% of their income on taxes or on tips. So if they work in Vegas for 35 years and then they go into Social Security, they might get, $100. It's like, wait, I made, those waiters in Vegas, they make, $10,000 a week. So I made $1 million a year, but yeah, you didn't, all that money you made on taxes, you didn't pay into Social Security. So here's your $100. I'm 60 years old and retired and collecting a state pension. My husband passed and worked for 40 years. Can I apply for survivor benefits? Yes, 100%. At 60 years old, if you were married to that person for at least 9 months, and the state pension, if it's one of those non-covered state pensions, that doesn't really matter anymore because of the Social Security Fairness Act. So there is no GPO offset, the government pension offset anymore. So, and you're 60 years old, so survivor benefits start at 60 years old. But remember, survivor benefits are fully reduced at 60 years old. So at 60 years old, you get 71.5% of the benefit amount. So I would definitely call in Social Security. And here's the strategy. Call Social Security, set up an appointment for survivor benefits, and ask them how much your benefit amount will be if you started your benefits this month. And then say, okay, change the MOE. And then they'll say, well, you know what you're talking about, the month of entitlement. Change it. How much will I receive if I file for benefits this time next year, if I wait a year? And they'll tell you. And that way you can tell, how much your benefits are being reduced and whether you want to wait a year or so. So, and then take those two numbers. And if you want to start your benefits now, tell them, okay, let's do it. And if not, you just say, okay, see you next year. Bye. Hey, Marvin, what's up? I am 66 years old and plan to apply for my Social Security this year. My question is, what month should I file? My birthday is January 30th. So 60, yeah, it really, you can file anytime you want. But if you want to start your benefits in January, then call October, November and schedule an appointment, or actually a month early because it might take you 2 months to get an actual appointment. So yeah, 2 or 3 or 4 months before, call, schedule the appointment, or 3 months before you can go online and file for benefits. If you've already signed up for Medicare at 65, then to start the monthly benefits will be easy because you've already done the difficult part of, setting up your a pathway in MCS, as Social Security calls it. So you've already done the difficult part, proving your identity and your date of birth and all that kind of stuff. To actually start the benefits is super, super easy once you've already done the Medicare part. But if you have been working and you refused Medicare Part A and B because you're working, never signed up for it, then that's another decision you'll have to make, is whether you're going to get Medicare Part A and Part B. Remember, you can refuse Part B if you have health insurance for work and your employer has 20 or more employees and your company isn't making you sign up for Part B and you're happy with Part B and all that stuff, or you're happy with your health insurance from work. Yeah, but then if you do sign up for Part B, then you have to figure out what you're going to do to cover all the gaps, because there's a lot of gaps in original Medicare. The biggest one being the Part B, there's a 20% co-insurance. So if you have a $100,000 medical bill, you have to pay $20,000 cash out of your pocket. So that's why people either get a Medicare supplement plan, an N or a G or an F or whatever, or a Medicare Advantage plan. And those are all different. There's, hundreds of different versions throughout the country. It really depends on your area. So you can reach out to Chapter there and they can help you out when your time is upon. Why do people with a progressive illness like MS need to do CDRs? It seems like a waste of resources. Yeah, new medical technology. Yeah, and MS is just crazy difficult to diagnose and stuff. Yeah, they really need to. I think there's the better. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor, but not a medical doctor. But I've had a friend that had MS, and so yeah, it's CDRs are required. But um, medical new technology, new medicine and different stuff. So it changes all the time. But when you're approved for your disability, they give you essentially a kind of a date for the CDR, either the 1 year or 18 months or 3 years or 5 years or never. So it really depends on that particular situation. And as of right now, yeah, Congress has determined that those need a CDR. So new idea for funding Social Security Trust Fund. Tobin tax of 1% on every dollar value of all trades on U.S. stock exchanges. That would raise $13.5 billion every day. Yes, I 100% agree with that, Stuart. Yes, not a lot of people talk about that. Yeah, because you've got these day traders that trade and do all this kind of stuff, and they make, $100 million doing that, but they don't pay any taxes on it. So yeah, a lot of countries have that kind of that trade kind of thing. I think there is a small one in the United States on certain. Yeah, I'm not a stockbroker or anything. I stay away from all that stuff. Um, uh, all right, Ed, how much am I allowed to make in the year of my retirement age? $62,160. Yeah, yeah. If your full retirement age is this year, and that is before your full retirement age. So let's say your full retirement age is in July. So from January to June, you can make $62,160. After that, you can make $1 billion a month, and it doesn't matter anymore. So I've been drawing $303, WEP reduced in 62. Can I now draw benefits off the ex-husband now at full retirement age? Yeah, it definitely sounds like. And so your WEP is going to be unwept. And because possibly, Dorinda, you didn't file for these spouse benefits, because when you asked about it, they said, well, your pension, 2/3 of your pension is going to offset what you receive from your spouse, and you say, well, I don't want to waste my time in filing and providing marriage and divorce and yada yada yada. So if that's the case, you never filed, then I would definitely reach out immediately, if not sooner. Run to the phone, stood on the phone for 3 hours, and schedule an appointment to file for spouse benefits. Even if you did, make sure it might be a good idea to reach out to Social Security anywhere and make sure they have your updated information. They're when they get around to you, and contact your politicians and tell them to get around quicker and help them. All the people that are being summarily discharged and fired from other agencies, reassign them to Social Security so they can help. They can't do the difficult stuff, but there's some easy stuff that they can do that would definitely help out. Jenny, I was approved in December, drawing on myself. They said I could draw the difference from my ex. Got a notice drawing from my ex was denied. I took my divorce and marriage papers. Why deny me? Um, they said I could draw the difference. So if there was actually money there, there was, your benefit amount was less than half of his, then you're entitled to those benefits. You were married for 10 years. I assume you're not currently married. Um, and you took your marriage and divorced in there. Maybe they asked for it. You didn't take it in there immediately. And the claim specialist was a little bit too rambunctious and they went ahead and denied it for lack of evidence. But if you then provide your evidence, then they'll just reopen the claim and approve it. No big deal. But remember, your marriage and divorce decree has to be the originals, the original from the issuing agency, not the original from, 1975 when you actually got married or whatever, but from the issuing agency. And no, notarized copies or, anything like that. They have to see the original. So if you mailed in copies, then that's why you were denied. So. Ed, do congressmen and congresswomen receive Social Security? Yes. Yeah, the whole thing about politicians not paying into Social Security, that was federal employees did not pay into Social Security under the old system, the civil service retirement system. That ended basically in 1983, 1984. And since then, 99.9% of the people in my office, there was one person that just retired a few years ago that was part of the old system. She was hired back in 1974 or something. Yeah, since the 80s, all federal employees and politicians pay into Social Security. But because politicians make so much money and all their other endeavors, they don't pay like the rest of us. So you and I pay 6.2%, and they pay, yeah. And Elon Musk, I'm sure, doesn't pay anything to Social Security. So that's you want fraud, waste, and abuse. I'll give you a picture of the person. The picture is Elon Musk. That's what I work for state. Yes, they took out FICA maintenance. They took out every paycheck at school district. No, I paid for FICA for state. Okay. Yeah, if the state type thing, they pay into Medicare, but they don't pay into the Social Security part of it. I began withdrawing my Social Security in June. I currently have a part-time job. How will it change my current FICA taxes? It won't. If you're 75 years old, 85 years old, 95 years old, you will always pay FICA taxes unless you use one of those strategies I was talking about earlier. But yeah, even if you're collecting Social Security benefits, you will always pay Social Security taxes, FICA taxes, or excuse me, yeah, FICA. But that will possibly increase your benefits. So that money is taken into consideration. So let's say you're 95 years old and you've been collecting Social Security benefits for decades and you're working, and that particular year is one of your high 35 years of work, then Social Security will look at that, recalculate your benefits, and increase your benefit amount based on your higher earnings. So it increases your benefit amount. Vexing Cap, $10. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. How much is the taxes as a single person with full Social Security claims? What is the income level? Yeah, I don't, definitely reach out to your, I don't want to give any tax type of stuff here. Donna. I'm 65 years old on SSDI. My FRA is 66 in 10 months. If I withdraw from my brokerage account to buy a car, will I be penalized? Nope. Not from Social Security disability, anything. The only thing it might affect is Medicare. If it's over, if you're single, if it's over what this year is 106,000 or over 212,000, if you're married, then a couple of years from now you might. Well, the numbers will be different a couple of years, but you might pay an extra premium on your Medicare Part B. So it's called a IRMA, Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. High wage earners and people that sell their homes. I'm not sure why Congress didn't make an exception for that one. But if you sell your home, you get that capital gains, then you might pay an extra Part B premium. But for SSDI, it doesn't affect your SSDI at all. It's not considered work or anything. Edward, 1999 says, you are amazing. You are amazing, Edward. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Got my coffee IV for the day. My son's taken care of. You guys are all right. I like you. Stuart, okay. But many South and Central American countries don't have a totalization agreement, but still have to pay self-employment tax to the US on that country. Yes. And I know the one thing that, like in Japan, if you have to pay taxes in the United States, you also have to pay taxes in Japan, and taxes in Japan are like 50%. So, but if you pay 25% in America, they offset that. Some countries don't, where you have to pay it twice, and so that kind of hurts. But in Japan, in some countries, the IRS has deals like that as well. A2930456. That's a cool name. Okay. I am retired as of July 2018, and I am covered by employer health plan. I have to join Medicare Plan B. That's what I did. Do I have to join Part D? If it is, then within how many days? Okay, so yeah, the same time you have to sign up for Part B, you have to sign up for Part D, the prescription drug plan. And if you don't, then you're penalized 1% per every 12 or every month you did not sign up when you were supposed to. So that starts when you have 8 months for when you lose your health plan from current work. So you signed up for Part B. If you signed up for a Medicare Advantage plan, then you probably already have Part D in there. Most Medicare Advantage plans have Part D bundled up in them. If you signed up for a Medicare Supplement plan, then you definitely need to sign up for a standalone prescription drug plan. A lot of people miss that, and unfortunately, Medicare agents out there aren't, yeah, doing the right thing. And you say, "Well, I don't take drugs," and they say, "Okay, bye," because they don't make a commission, and that's doing the wrong thing. That's why chapter always goes there. Okay, here we go. We got something negative. I like negative. You are wrong. You are explaining the Fairness Act all wrong. You need to get the facts on the Fairness Act. It is very fair. Please research this more. Yeah, I've talked about this several times. Basically, the Fairness Act, it's the WEP, Windfall Elimination Provision. So the provision to eliminate a windfall. So Social Security gives people a percentage of what they paid into Social Security. If you work on one of those non-covered employments, then Social Security calculations does not look at all the other work you do. So someone that makes $50,000 a month, that's a firefighter in the other 97% of firefighters, they will get, let's say, 50% return of what they paid into Social Security. The people that kind of have their earnings kind of hidden, not unbeknownst to them, but they are essentially hidden, they will get not 50% like every other firefighter or police or teacher that's similar to them. They might get 60% or 70% of what they paid into Social Security, and that is 100% fair. So I think you need to do a little bit of research. And the travesty is that the people that worked for decades and run those organizations to get the Fairness Act passed, they never told their people what it was about, and that's kind of very suspicious. All right. Husband passed, received a reimbursement from the facility. Well, I need to report the sum. Okay, yeah. Yeah, not exactly sure what type of reimbursement or anything we're talking about here. Where do I apply for my ex-spouse SSI? There is no ex-spouse SSI. SSI is a welfare-based program, but you mean regular Social Security. Okay. We were married 13 years. We divorced. He is 73 and retired. I am 63, not retired. Can I claim and file on him? No military. Okay. Where do you apply? You call Social Security. You have to file for benefits on your own record first. And once you file for benefits on your record, then you can file for benefits on his record. And you're 63, so your benefit amount is going to be reduced, and you're working. So remember, if you're making over $23,400, then your benefits are going to be reduced. $1 for every $2 you go over. All right, let's see. When you own a business corporation, do you have to open a payroll account to pay yourself as an employee and in order to have retire? I would reach out to a tax person on that one. So there is a YouTube short video of Elon addressing World Government Forum and stated that all government agencies in the US government should be deleted. I am not sure what to make of this. Yeah. Yeah, he says they should reboot all the federal agencies, and it's not like Twitter or anything like that. These private companies, these are okay. We're going to reboot all the food stamps and all the survivor benefits and all the retirement benefits and all the disability and SSI. We're just going to shut everything down, and then when people come crying to us, then we'll figure out that, oh, okay, these people can't pay their rent and now they're hungry and they're babies and yada yada yada. Oh, okay, I guess we'll start this one and we'll start that one. That gives you an idea of that person is out of touch with reality and being the richest person in the world. Go figure, right? I live in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and my congressman has sent me an invitation to a town hall discussion to discuss my concern. Hopefully, everyone will have this opportunity. Yes, go there and say, what are you doing to improve customer service at our local office? And don't let them give you that BS about telework or anything like that. Watch my videos on telework. Don't give them any, BS about it. Social Security, contributes to the deficit, doesn't. Yeah, hold his feet to the fire. Um, nice office. Is that a Chinese flag, but behind the U.S. flag? Guess it could as well be. No, that is the Marine Corps flag. So, not sure if you were born in the United States, but that is the Marine Corps flag. Does my income before collecting Social Security count toward the income limit for the year? No. Good question, Noreen. So that is called the monthly earnings limit. So if, let's say, you want to start your benefits in July, early retirement, and you made $1 billion from January to June, doesn't matter. Social Security only cares about how much you're going to make starting July. So as long as you're under the monthly limit, which is what, $1,950, and you're going to stay under that limit for the rest of the year, you're good. It doesn't matter what you made before you start your benefits. So let's see here. What's up, Patty? My husband will file at 70. I'm 64. If I take mine now and wait until full retirement age at 67 to get spousal benefits, will there be any drawbacks to that? Can only get the max of half of his, right? Yes, you can only get the max. You can only get up to 50% if you start those benefits at your full retirement age. But Social Security has this thing called deemed filing. If you file for benefits on your own record, you have to file for benefits on that person's record too. So it's called a deemed filing. So you have to file for both, technically. Okay. Okay, I already answered that one. A Social Security question. I collect SSI and SSDI. My SSI is only 147 and SSDI is under 1,000. I heard you say that the average monthly check of SSI is around 900. Well, not the average. The max is what, $957 this year. I worked put money into this. Yeah. So you, as you know, Jade, you can collect SSI and SSDI. So if you're SSDI, yeah, you probably have it opposite. Your SSDI is probably $147, and then you're receiving the other, 900 or so or 800 or so from SSI because it can't be the other part. So, but remember, since you're receiving SSI, you're also categorically eligible, it's called, for Medicaid from the state. And so make sure, hopefully you have Medicaid from the state already started to help you with your healthcare costs. And then when you have Medicaid, because you have SSDI, you're also eligible for Medicare after being on SSDI for 2 years. So hopefully you have Medicaid and Medicare. You're dual eligible. And if you're dual eligible, you're eligible for those Medicare Advantage dual eligible plans. Yeah, I usually recommend Medicare supplements, but if you have Medicaid, you can't get one of those. The Medicare Advantage dual eligible plans, those are the ones with the extra benefits, and sometimes they have grocery cards depending on the area. So yeah, reach out to chapter and they can see if there's one available in your particular neck of the woods. All right, we're getting close to the end here. Let me get a couple of people I've never seen before. Restart request after 1 year, May 2024, did withdraw the withdrawal. Wow. Social Security employees hated that. Mailed September 2024, told all will in 90 days, talked to Congress. I did to no avail. Could you please suggest anything? Yeah. If you already reached out to your yeah, this one is a nightmare. Basically, What it sounds like you did is you applied for Social Security benefits, and then within 1 year, you withdrew, you changed your mind, you didn't wanna do it, and then you changed your mind again, and you decided to go ahead and yeah, it's but May of 2024, but you mailed it in May or September 2024, so it's probably not gonna be done in the local office, it has to be done in the processing center, one of the 9 regional processing centers, and then it takes time, but it's already been, what, 5 months or so? I would reach out to another congressperson. Maybe that congressperson didn't do an actual congressional, so I would reach out to another congressperson, go onto the website, call them. It's probably best to go onto the website and click the little button that says, "I need help with a federal agency," and then include in there, "Hey, congressperson, what are you doing to improve customer service? Because Social Security needs help." Tambera, $20 don't support. I appreciate it. Let's see. Says, thank you for helping people have more ideas to receive the benefits they don't know. You don't have time to address many questions. Disabled adult child for me. I'll do research. Wanted to show support for helping so many people as you do. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Yeah, what she's talking about is DAC benefits, disabled adult child benefits. If you have a parent, either parent receiving retirement benefits or disability benefits, then the child who became disabled before the age of 22 can collect benefits, disabled adult child benefits on the parent's record. And that child can receive benefits for the rest of their life. If the parent they're receiving the benefits on is still out there alive and kicking, then the child will receive 50%, up to 50%. If it's a surviving child claim, then it's 75%. So, and those benefits are automatically calculated, switched from the 50% or to the 75% when the parent passes away. All right, that is we're out of time. Unfortunately, I will be back again tomorrow. And if I didn't get to your question, cut and paste it, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Please take care of each other. Reach out to your politicians and tell them Ed wants to retire. Let's have Social Security offices answer all these questions. But I'm never going to retire, so that was a stupid comment. I'm going to be here. I'll figure out some other stupid thing to do in the future. All right, y'all take care. Have an awesome